In this video, we're going to create our first node here in our graph, which is going to be the base material node. So we can create a node different ways here in Designer. So the first option would be if I just hit the space bar, and that's going to open up this window here that allows me to select one of these nodes here. Now these are the nodes that we refer to as the operational or the atomic nodes, and we talked about this briefly in chapter 1. Here you can see that I have a search field, and I can start to search for a specific node, which will then filter this window. So for example, if I want to start to type in the word base, I filtered my search query, and I can see here that we have a base material node. This is what I want to use. So in order to create this node, I'm just going to perform a single left click, and that node is now created here in my graph. Now, if I come over to this node and I just do a double click, what that's going to do here in my 2D view is view the contents of the first output of this node. More on outputs in just a moment. You'll also notice that with this node selected, we have these two icons here. We call these the badge icons, and they indicate what's being viewed in our 2D view and the properties panel. So for example, on this node, you can see that the first badge looks like this page. That's talking about the parameters. What this means is that the parameters are displayed in the properties panel. Now, if we come over here, you can see that we have some options for base parameters, attributes, and then we have this instance parameters. So we have this word instance. Now, the terminology that we use here in Designer when you create a node is we say that we've created an instance of that node here in our graph workspace. Hence, here in the properties, you can see for the parameters, we're referring to the properties as the instance parameters. That just means the controls for this node here as they're loaded into the properties panel. Now the next badge icon we see here looks like a little checkerboard, and this just means that the output of this node is being viewed here in the 2D view. Now these badge icons are enabled by default. Now if for some reason that you don't see them, you can come up here to the menu of the graph workspace, and if I click this I button, this pop-up appears, and the second option which says display node badges, if we turn that off, well they're off, we don't see them anymore, and if we come over here and we enable them, then we see the node badges. So let's create another node. This time, instead of using the space bar, well, I could hit the tab key, which actually opens the exact same window. So we have two options here. We have the tab key or the space bar, whichever keyboard shortcut you would prefer. Another way to create the nodes would be to just come over here to the library, and if you know the category the node is located, you could just browse for it there. So for example, if I come over to Material Filters, and I come over to PBR Utilities, here you can see I have the base material node. I can also use the search to query for a result. Start to type in base. You can see just as before, the library then filters, and here we have the base material. Now I can just left click and drag and drop this here into the graph. Again, we refer to this as creating an instance of this node in our graph. So I'll double click again to make sure that the first output of this base material node is being viewed here in my 2D view. Now, once again, the badges do indicate what's being viewed here. So for example, let's say that I want to maybe view what's happening in this node, but I want to edit the parameters of another node. Well, I can simply just come over to this base material and left click on it. Now you'll see that the properties, the instance parameters from this node have been loaded into the properties panel, and it's indicated visually here in the graph by this page badge, which again says that displayed in properties. So again, we're viewing the result of this node in our 2D view as indicated by the checker image badge, and we're viewing the instance parameters of this node here in our properties as indicated by this page badge. We don't need both of these nodes, so I'm just going to left click this node here and just hit delete on my keyboard to remove it. Now we have this single base material. So a moment ago I mentioned we're viewing the first output, and well, what does that mean? So when we look at a node, you can see here that it has this little yellow circle or dot. This indicates an output. So a node is typically going to have an input and an output. At this stage, the base material doesn't have an input, it just has this output node. However, this node represents a full material. So here at the top of the toolbar, you can see there's an icon here, and this lets us activate or change the link creation mode. So I'm going to click this drop down, and you can see that we have three options: standard, material, and compact material. The icon indicates that we are currently in this compact material mode. So if I switch this over to standard, so I'm just going to left click on this option, you can see that this node expands and we see a bunch of these outputs here. And what I'm actually viewing here in the 2D view, like I said, is that first output, which in my case happens to be base color. Now I can view any of these outputs in the 2D view. So for example, let's say I wanted to look at maybe my normal output. If I just come over to this output and double click it, I'm now viewing this output here in my 2D view. Same thing if I come over here to, let's say, my metallic. So double click, you can see this metallic output is showing here in my 2D view. So this node represents an entire material. And that's what we want to start here when we're creating our material. We're going to start with this base material, which lets us create what I like to call a modeling material. So basically, it's just going to give us some basic material attributes as we start to build up our height information, and we can take that height information and feed it here into this base material. This approach is similar to using the matcap gray in ZBrush as you focus on sculpting shape and form. It'll make a lot more sense as we start to work. But for now, let's come over here to our parameters, our instance parameters, and let's change some of these options. So for the material preset, I'm going to switch this from custom to dielectric. So this means that we're going to be creating a non-metal. For the base color value, again, like I said, this is like a modeling material. I want to keep this at, pretty much a kind of a uniform gray value or a middle gray value. So we're going to leave this at 127. For the roughness value, I'm going to set this up here to, closer to full white or extremely rough. And since this is a dielectric, we don't have any settings here for our metallic. So we've talked about being able to view these outputs. Again, if I double click here this base color, or if I double click the node itself, it's going to view that first output here in the 2D view. But how do we view them here in the 3D view? So the workflow that I'm showing you here in this video is a simplified way of quickly viewing material outputs in a 3D view. Instead of creating a bunch of outputs and hooking things up and then viewing those outputs, what I'm going to do here is just simply right-click on this node and drag and drop that here into the 3D view. Doesn't matter where, just into the 3D view, and then let go of my mouse button. So by doing that, what I've done is, since this node represents a full material, right-click and dragging, dropping that Substance Designer will automatically associate these outputs with the inputs for the shader that we're using. So in the previous video, we've already set up this shader to be our physically based metal rough tessellation shader. Now, the outputs that we see here are being fed into the inputs of this shader. So for example, again, if I have my node selected and I come over to my instance parameters and I do something like, say, change the color, you can see that now the 3D view updates as well as the 2D view. So I'm just going to hit Control Z to undo that because, like I said, for this modeling material phase that I'm in right now, I want to just use this middle gray value. Now I could also adjust my roughness. So say, for example, I set this roughness value to a really low value, or a very smooth value, pure black. You can see here in my 3D view, we get a very reflective surface. So again, in this stage, I don't really want to worry about this yet. So I'm going to set this up to a pretty high value, basically close to 1 here. And this is what we're going to work with to start. Now, I don't really care to view all these outputs right now. It's just kind of getting in the way. So I'm just going to change my link creation mode. And I can do that either through the drop-down menu or by just using a keyboard shortcut. So the keyboard shortcut for setting this into material mode, which is going to be this third option, is just to hit the 3 key on the keyboard. And that collapses everything down to this single output. Now, if I hit 1 on the keyboard, that's the same thing as setting this link creation stage here to standard. And if I hit 2, that's going to set it here to this material. So we don't really have to worry so much about this link creation stuff right now. I just wanted you to understand what outputs we were being able to look at as we view them here in our 2D and our 3D view. And like I said, right now I don't need to see all this stuff, so I'm going to hit 3 on the keyboard to set this into my compact material mode. So in this video, we've created our first node here in our graph. We talked about being able to view outputs in our 2D view, as well as selecting node and viewing the instance parameters for a node here in the properties panel. And we also talked about how these badge icons indicate what is being viewed in our 2D and our properties. We also talked about being able to just simply right-click and drag and drop a node here into our 3D view to assign all of the outputs. Again, here I'm hitting 1 on the keyboard to go into my standard link creation mode so we could see all these outputs. We're essentially assigning all of these outputs to the inputs of our shader that we've been working with here just by using a drag and drop method. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to start to create the basis of our height map, and we're going to feed that data here into our base material, which is then going to be updated directly here in our 3D view.